Thank you for remaining with us. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission is insisting that the president of the Nigeria Bar Association, Mr. Paul Usoro, has a case to answer over his role in the alleged case of fraud and money laundering involving 1.4 billion naira. In a statement signed by the acting head of media of the anti-graft agency, the commission said it had invited Usoro in June this year to explain his role regarding the inflow of 300 million naira from the Akwa Ibom state government's account into the account of Paul Usoro Chambers, PUC. The statement says Usoro was also questioned on the aggregate inflow of 1,110 million naira from the state government's account into the bank account of PUC. It adds that Mr. Usoro had claimed that the various sums of money received from the Akwa Ibom state government under the administration of Governor Udom Emmanuel were payments for, quote, legal fees to him and other eminent members of the inner bar and a host of other members of the outer bar that he engaged, that is, to work with him in respect of the election petition matter involving the governor, end of quote. The FCC is insisting that the act of making such humongous payment of over R1 billion naira to an individual from state vault raises reasonable suspicion of money laundering and may amount to a disservice to the people of Akwa Ibom State. Members of the Islamic Movement of Nigeria have again staged a peaceful protest in Abuja, demanding the release of their leader Sheikh Ibrahim El-Zakzaky, who is being detained by the federal government in spite of a court judgment ordering his release. In an interview in Abuja shortly after the protest march, spokesperson of the group, Abdullahi Musa, decries the continuous detention of Sheikh El-Zakzaky and his wife since December 2015 over allegations of ordering his members to obstruct the convoy of the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tukur Buratai. The group has therefore vowed to continue its peaceful protest in the nation's capital until their leader is released.
Competent court of law on the 2nd of December 2016 ordered for the Sheikh to be free by the Nigerian security forces, but they refused. And they keep on telling the masses that he has committed no offense, that they are keeping in what they call protective custody, that this man has committed no offense according to the security forces. That some group of individuals want to kill him, and that is why the security are giving him protection. Now court say they should free him, they refuse. We have been coming out to protest against the illegal detention, against court order.
And still in the nation's capital, the Recover Nigeria Project Group is accusing MultiChoice Nigeria of disobeying court orders and demanding a pay-as-you-watch method for Nigerian subscribers. The group's leader made this known at a protest at the MultiChoice office in Maitama, Abuja. The protesters say they are mobilizing 20,000 Nigerians to protest against what they describe as fraudulent and exploitative practices by MultiChoice and are demanding that the company stop exploiting Nigerian masses.
Justice Dimbo of Federal High Court gave ruling on the issue brought by CPC, and the court gave ruling that they should take action on the hike to the subscription. They flouted Nigeria court order. Can they do this in South Africa?
No.
They can't. They can't do
not.
this in South Africa. You charge your subscription today, emergency come, you travel. By the time you come back 1 month, your subscription is gone. You pay for what you don't consume. It's not only more teachers that are in this mess. MTN, Etisalat, Glow, what is the name of the other one? Petrol. They are in this. But we decided we will stop this. That is why we are here. Now, what we are saying is that consumers should take their destiny into their hand, the consumers. So the docility is what we don't want. Our mission is that we will mobilize about 20,000 Nigerians by January. I am serious about it. Mobilize them. Come here, shut this place down. They must remove this apartheid business in Nigeria. It's apartheid. In South Africa, I understand what they do is pay as you watch or pause subscription. Pause. That's what they do. Are South Africans better than us? The answer is no.
That's all from Abuja. Let's return to our Lagos studio where Gimbo Umar is waiting for the rest of the news stories.
Brilliant. Many thanks indeed, Ibrahim. Several shops have been burnt by a raging fire at a popular electronics shop along Ahmadu Bello Way in Kaduna State's capital. Eyewitnesses told Channels Television that the fire Outbreak was caused by an electrical surge after the traders had closed for the day's business. Officials of the Federal Fire Service are making efforts to put out the fire. In the meantime, a disaster was averted in Lagos today as 2 fuel tankers were involved in harrowing incidents in different parts of the city. One fuel tanker caught fire while trying to discharge its content at a filling station near the airport in Ikeja, while another one fell along the opic end of the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, which eyewitnesses say was caused by overspeeding. Our correspondent Olubide Macaulay reports.
The last thing anyone wants to happen is a fire outbreak, as the flames of this fuel tanker that exploded at a petrol station in Lagos spikes fear of double jeopardy. The petrol station is located near the local airport in the heart of the capital, Ikeja. The dense population expectedly spreads panic as people scamper for safety. Fire service arrives to save the day. As the blaze is brought under control, a bystander questions the location of the petrol station.
This type of filling station should not be situated in this type of environment, because you can see some tanks around here. So, and then look at NCA's office very close there. I think it's almost got fire also. So that is only my advice. So this type of thing should be removed from here, or look for an exit, so that such thing, if it happens next time, people will look for a way to come immediately.
The drama involving fuel tankers didn't end there, as another fuel tanker overturned at Opik Junction in Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, spilling its flammable contents onto the road, constituting a very dangerous hazard, not to speak of the ensuing traffic jam. 2 fuel tanker incidents in one day is more than enough for Lagosians to stomach, which raises questions as to whether safety standards and regulations are being adhered to and where exactly the problem is coming from. Olumide Macaulay, Channels Television News.
Thank goodness no life was lost in both incidents. Let's quickly shift our gears now to business news with Emana Amawe.
You First. First Bank.
Thank you, Gimba. Welcome to Business News. After 2 days of tough negotiations, members of the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, along with its allies, including Russia, today agreed to cut oil output by 1.2 million barrels per day, larger than the market had expected. The deal, which is expected to cut output to the market for the first 6 months of 2019, comes despite opposition from U.S. President Donald Trump. The alliance did not release specific quotas for individual countries, but agreed to exempt Iran along with Venezuela and Libya. Meantime, global oil prices benchmark Brent crude was up 3% to $61.87 a barrel at about 8:26 p.m. local time, after surging more than 5% to $63.73 in the afternoon. The Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, today took the federal government's Trader Money scheme to Ipata Market, the second largest in Ilorin, the Kwara State capital. Professor Osinbajo arrived to a rousing welcome at the market, where he had been scheduled to launch the 10,000 naira collateral-free, interest-free disbursement for petty traders in the state. The interest-free loan distributed to traders at the market was transferred to the beneficiaries after they had undergone the required registration exercise. The scheme, which is being implemented by the Bank of Industry, allows each beneficiary to get a loan of between 10,000 and 15,000 naira and is part of the social intervention program by the Buhari administration to empower over 2 million petty traders across the country. However, it was difficult for the vice president to address the gathering, as the surging crowd made it impossible for his voice to be heard. The local bourse managed to soft land at the close of today's trade, driven by last-minute bargain hunting by the consumer goods bellwether component. Teniola Shubowale tells us more.
Hello and welcome to the Stock Market Report. Friday's closing figures came in positive, reigniting that optimism that the month of December will be a good one. This is because more domestic investors who want to take advantage of the December rally came into the market. Despite Dangote Cement shedding some weight, the bears couldn't resist the bulls as investors took position in Nestle and Dangote Sugar, pushing the all-share index up by 0.15%. And that explains the 1.95% gain in the consumer goods sector. The losses by FBNH, EcoBank Transitional Incorporated and Stanbic IBTC pulled the banking sector into the red. Activities remain subdued as just about 179 million shares were traded and a paltry 1.56 billion naira was released in 2,631 deals. For some of the traders, next week will be better. And that's the Stock Market Report. I'm Teniola Shubowale.
Meanwhile, U.S. stock markets ended Friday's session broadly negative as a weaker-than-expected jobs report and China-U.S. trade tensions sent the Dow Jones Industrial Average lower by 460 points. Meanwhile, it's broadly mixed performance for other leading stock markets today. Let's see the figures. That's Business News Tonight. Thank you for staying with us. I'm Emana Amawe. Gimba.
With the increase in concerns that low and medium-scale jobs will be lost to machines within the next decade, Chevening Nigeria alumni believes that there is a need to prioritize human capital development to achieve sustainable development. This was the crux of discussions at the second edition of the Chevening Nigeria Alumni Leadership Summit held here in Lagos. The alumni is calling for Nigeria to shore up its investment in human capital in order to reduce poverty and employment in the country.
The Chevening Alumni Nigeria Leadership Summit doubles as a celebration of 35 years since Chevening awarded its first scholarship in the country. The theme of the summit, Partnerships for Equipping Nigerian Youths for Work and Innovation in the Digital Age, is carefully chosen to discuss a critical national issue, which is the underutilization of Nigerian youths. The chairman of Channels Media Group, Mr. John Momo, who is also the president of the alumni, explains the relevance of the theme to the current socio-political realities of the country.
In an election year, when we have to decide those who will lead us for another 4 years. And secondly, we're at a time where technological innovation is asking us to shape up or shape out. We should be catching up with the trends or we'll get left behind. Putting it succinctly, we're in a time where we need not only think about our socioeconomic and political future, but also do something about it using technology. And in so doing, we envisage that our youth will be playing very key roles, especially if sustainability is our watchword.
The challenge being posited is not only peculiar to Nigeria. The British Deputy High Commissioner, Laura Buffield, thinks along this line. She prefers investing in quality education as a solution to the shortfall in human capital.
Basic education is fundamental, and I think it's time to rethink it, to teach the lessons that young people will need in the future and that we can only imagine now. Of course, we know that the education crisis is particularly stark in Nigeria, The World Bank has just come up with a new index, which is called the Human Capital Index, and it was launched in Bali recently by the president of the World Bank, Jim King. And the Human Capital Index is supposed to be measuring the potential productivity that a current infant will have when they reach the end of secondary school. One of the composites of this very simple indicator is learning adjusted years of schooling.
An understanding to the theme provides a lead for other speakers and panelists to bring their thoughts to bear on how to address skill gaps among youths amidst a growing concern that technology is gradually replacing jobs.
Freelancing doesn't automatically mean it means you're an entrepreneur. It doesn't mean that you're working for yourself. It doesn't mean you're setting up your own company. It simply means you're freelancing your skill set in a manner that defines your employment terms. So we're talking about shifts that would come up in the employment contracting.
Technology is something we can use to catch up with the rest of the world. Because if you get it right this year, we can trump even the next country or geography. So it's something that as a government, as individuals, as corporates, there is a lot we need to do. I see all the flags rising, so I'm trying to rush through this conversation, but I'd like us to delve into this in a much more rigorous fashion.
Since its inception in 1983, the Chevening Nigeria alumni says it has been playing its part in national development by empowering and forging a lasting relationship with future leaders towards the mutual prosperity of the United Kingdom and Nigeria.